Hello, this is Dr. Kamani, licensed clinical psychologist, and I am here talking to you if you are a Black woman in a toxic job and are you wondering, what am I doing here? I used to think that all the time when I was at my previous toxic job. I used to think, what am I doing here? There's a song, I think the artist's name is Alicia Cara or something like that. And she had a video, a song called Here. And one of the lyrics she talked about was, what am I doing here? Why am I in a space where people do not care about my well-being? And when you think about being in a toxic job, are you in a space where people really don't care about you and or they are really trying to harm you in some way? So when you think about that, and I know when I thought about that, I was thinking, I do not want people who wish to cause me harm to have this much influence over my life and have this much influence in terms of what happens with my future, what happens with, you know, what's happening with me and my family, nothing like that. So if you're in a situation like that, I just wanted to just talk to you briefly because I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to think, what am I doing here? How did I end up here? How do I get out? And is this what I worked so hard for? Is this what I went to school for? Is this what I did all these sacrifices for? Is this it for me? Is this what my life is about? And I just want to say to you, I know what that feels like. I really do. And I just want to just say to you that it may feel that way. It may feel that there's no way out, but there is a way out. And when we think that, it's important for us to remember this is not our end stop. This is a part of the process, and part of the process may be for you to go through this process so that you have the clarity and recognize that you deserve better and that you try to get out. Okay. So, my therapist, I'm a psychologist, I have a therapist too. So, my therapist even talked about that what I went through was really a rescue mission from God because God was trying to rescue me from people who were doing harm to me, who do not have my best interest at heart. Okay. So for you, when you think about your toxic job and you think about what you're going through, is this part of the process? Is this part of the process for you to recognize this is not the place for you, that you are lying to yourself about trying to stick it out or trying to wait or, or being crippled by fear, being stuck by fear? If you are wondering this for yourself, what, why, how, all these questions about being in a toxic job, there's so many Black women who feel the same as you. And again, I just want to tell you that there is a way out. And something that I would do when I was at that toxic job, I did a lot of different things, right? You've heard of my previous videos. You've heard me talk on Stephanie Perry's channel when she interviewed me about leaving a toxic job, Black women leaving toxic jobs, where I've talked about my healing journey and me leaving. But, what's interesting is that when I was in that place, I couldn't see my way out, couldn't see my way out. However, I had family and friends who saw something bigger for me, and it was their faith in me that helped me move out. Okay. And so if you're in a situation like that, I want you to think about, in the meanwhile, as you are making your plan to leave, again, this video is for Black women who are ready to leave a toxic job. Okay. I'm talking to you, sis. Okay. I'm not talking to Black women who want to stay at a toxic job and just want to ride it out. This message is not for you. But for Black women who are ready to leave a toxic job, you may not be ready right now, but you may know deep down that it's time. The time is going to come for you to leave. And so when you have that, just recognize that it may take you a while, but don't beat yourself up for if it might take you a while, right? Don't beat yourself up if you're not able to leave right now. Don't do that. Okay? That doesn't help you. So just show loving kindness to yourself and know that you are making plans to leave. it might take you a while, and even this process might be mental preparation for you to get ready to leave, okay? So the process may be here to help you get your mind together so that you recognize you need to leave. So when I say get your mind together, I'm not saying that you're healing while you're there. What I'm saying is sometimes we have to go through certain experiences for us to recognize that we deserve better and that we start making plans to getting what we want. And so when we have these experiences, I think Iyanla Van Dot talked about sometimes we're knocked down and we get up, we rise higher. And so you will rise higher too. You may just need a moment to heal. You may just need a moment to, get away from the job, take a leave of absence, go into therapy, do whatever you need to do to heal yourself. But I want to assure you that when you are asking yourself, what did I do to get here? How do I get out of here? Is this the best that my life is? I want to assure you that it's not. Stephanie Perry has talked about this. Other people have talked about this, that their job does not define you. You are so much bigger than a job. Don't limit yourself in terms of what your title is. Whatever your job is, you can take that skill somewhere else, okay? So if you are consumed by your job, if you really don't have a work-life balance, that you just think about your job all the time, you just talk about your job all the time, that's not a work-life balance, okay? So again, I just want to just say to you, I had this experience where literally I'm walking through an area and I heard that song here. And it reminded me, sometimes you'll hear a song and it will remind you of a time in your life. And when I heard that song today, it reminded me of a time in my life when I was at a toxic job where I was questioning, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? Why am I around these people who are trying to harm me and do not have my best interest in heart? What am I doing here? When I envisioned my life, it was not being harmed by people who are deeply insecure. That is not that was not my mission, right? That was not why I did what I did. It wasn't right. It's not any part of my life, and so I had to make a decision that I did not let and I would not allow for people who I did not respect to have that much influence over my life. And so my hope is that you are regaining your power and you're regaining your freedom and starting to go through the process. If you are thinking in your mind, I know I need to leave this job, allow the process to happen. Again, the process may take a while. It took me 3 years, to be honest. It took me 3 years, maybe more, okay, for me to go through that process. But to say to you that it's okay to go through the process. And maybe this is part of the process in terms of this questioning and really saying to yourself, is this the life that I want for myself? And if it is not, what is it that you need to do to try to get there? Okay. So, therapy, I talk about coaching. I talk about having a community of supportive people around you. And also, if you want to take the master class. So, the master class is next week. So, if you want to be part of the master class, and the master class is Save Yourself, Channel Your Inner Harriet, so that you can leave that toxic, hostile job with your sanity and your coins. So, this is a master class, which is 2 days. It's a collaboration between S. Emery Archer, who is the anti-HR lady, and myself. So it's going to be 2 days. So the first day deals with how to get ready to leave a toxic job. And then the second day deals with now that you've decided to leave the toxic job or you've left the toxic job, what are the things that you need to do? So Anne Marie is the anti-HR lady. So she's going to be talking about HR related issues. She's also an attorney. So she's going to be talking about the difference between a hostile and a toxic job, what to do if you decide to go to HR, recognizing that HR is not necessarily your friend, And also, if you decide to leave a toxic job, if there's coins on the table, if there's money on the table, she will teach you about how to access that. Okay. And then I'll talk about the psychological trauma that many of us experience in the workplace. So I'll talk about ways to heal from that in terms of confronting your fears, dealing with the grief of leaving a toxic job, because again, the job may not be all bad. There may be a lot of bad about it, but there might be things that you really love about the job, or you may be committed to the work. So I know that I was working with children, very committed to the work. However, I cannot help anybody if I'm being harmed. So you have to recognize that for yourself too, okay? So also in terms of the psychological components that I'll talk about is how do you nurture yourself, and also how do you deal with the residual trauma that happens after you leave the job, okay? Because there's a lot of emotional toll that these toxic jobs can have on us, and I really want us to heal, okay? So when we think about healing, I would say that the masterclass would help you jumpstart it, but it's a healing journey. I'm still healing, Anne Marie's still healing. We're both toxic job survivors. So again, if you're interested in the masterclass, which is Save Yourself, Channel Your Inner Harriet, so that you can leave that toxic hustle job with your sanity and your coins. Information will be in the description section about early registration. If you are not able to make both days, then you can access the replay, okay? And also, if you miss the whole masterclass, you will be able to access the replay as well, okay? So please really be honest with yourself, okay? If you're having that inkling thought, like, I can't stand this place, I dread going to this place, you crying on the way to work. I did a video about, what is this job costing you? If the job is costing you your well being, if the job is costing you your joy, if the job is costing you your freedom, okay? Alicia Renese talks a lot about, don't let a job or anything rob you of your freedom, because sometimes jobs can be joy robbers, okay? So again, my hope is that you reclaim your freedom. If you are starting to think about this is something I want to do, it might be a process. And I really hope that you can practice self-compassion for yourself as you are going through this process, and that you decide to be around or share your process with those who support you, who those people who give you positive, realistic feedback, not those people who are going to project their fears on you, because people will try to project their fears on you and try to get you to stay, but you know what you need for yourself, and you know the impact that that job might be having on you. So please don't allow yourself to be swayed by the projected fears of others, because they're going to keep doing that. They're going to project their fears, but you can decide, you have the choice, you have the agency to decide who you want to tell. Okay, so practice your power in doing so. Okay, so again, there's resources available for you. I want you to know that you can leave and you can do very well. I don't want you to feel that this is all that is for you, that there's so much more for you. There's so much more for you. So know that. And if you need the support in trying to get out, there's support for you. Okay. So again, I've offered you support on my YouTube channel. I've talked about on LinkedIn also. If you are concerned about trying to get out and feeling that people at your job might be watching you on LinkedIn or other social media, there's different ways to get around that, okay? So I'm not gonna say it now, but I have a video on it, and you can ask other people about that. And then if you're interested in the masterclass, but you're concerned that your employer is gonna find out that you're trying to leave or anything like that, just like that plantation mentality, right? Again, a lot of jobs are like plantations. So if you have that fear, that your job is trying to keep you there, is trying to rob you of your freedom. Just want to let you know with the masterclass, Anne Marie and I have talked about this. And so we have made some adjustments so that you will not be seen on screen. Okay. So this Zoom format, you will not be seen on screen. Not anybody can just come into the Zoom meeting. You have to have a meeting ID and a link. Okay. Also, you can use a different name. So there's ways around it. But my hope is that you again know that you can leave, you can go through the process. People are here to help support you in the process, okay? So again, I'm signing off, but I just want to let you know if you're having those questions, pay attention to those questions, right? So that's your soul talking to you. Your soul is saying, get me out of here, okay? So pay attention to that and don't lie to yourself, okay? So if you have not already subscribed to my channel, please do so, Lifting Us with Climb Consulting Wellness Services. And please like this video and share this video with other Black women who are in toxic jobs because unfortunately, it's so many of us. It's so many of us who are hurting, and it's so important for so many of us, right, who are hurting that we get the healing that we need and that we deserve, and that we live a life that's very different than what we're living right now. If we're hurting right now, if we are feeling abused, neglected, anything like that, we deserve so much better. And I hope that you know that for yourself, that you deserve better and that there's better for you. Okay? So I'm signing off. So thank you for tuning in. Take care.